Hi, welcome along to the class. Come on in, have a seat. I've got my washing around the house, I'm sorry. I realise it's a nice day though, I should have put it outside. Because we're going to be out all day, I decided to leave it in, and that way, in case it rains. Anyway, so we're going to do some stretches. So heels are together, and your knees are apart. And we're also going to do some balance at the latter part of the class. So it's not a super long stretch session. It's about half an hour of stretch, and then we'll add some balance in at the end of that. Each exercise will hold for between 1 to 2 minutes. This one I'm going to start with is about 2 minutes. And just focus on your breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. I don't know why the toning of the screen just keeps changing. I'm going to move the screen down a little bit more. How about that? That might hopefully work. There we go. Might even zip a bit closer. It takes a while to get set up. Doesn't matter, we've still got another minute here. So I hope you've been well. I had a really lovely morning walk, and I'll explain to you exactly why. It was absolutely beautiful. I had an amazing encounter with a rosella. You know, if you're in another country, rosellas are the most colourful, beautiful birds, and they are just stunning to look at, but also very native to Australia, and I love them so much. So anyway, I was going for my walk, and there were a couple of minor birds attacking something in the grass, and of course I saw the colours and I straight away knew it was a rosella. So I went up to it, and its wing was sort of out to the side, so I tucked its wing in, and then it was, with one claw, it was just completely held on to like a weed on the grass. Okay, we're going to open our legs out now and take them as wide as you can, feet to the side, and then if you can hold on to them, that's great. Another 2 minutes for holding this one. Anyway, so I had to I didn't want to pry its claw apart, I just had to try and pull this weed out so that I could pick it up. So I pulled the weed out, and it was quite early when I was walking. It was before 7, so the vet doesn't open until 9. So I thought, you know what, I'm a little bit far from home. I'll continue with my walk, and I'll take the bird with me for a walk. So I took the bird with me, and I had it in close so that it would sort of feel my heart, and it was beating, its heart was beating really heavily, and one of the eyes was sort of not very open, and it was sort of breathing heavily from its nose. It was almost like there was snot coming out of its top of its beak in those 2 holes at the top of its beak. Anyway, it was so beautiful. I was just, patting it and just hoping it would be okay. And in the meantime, its family was flying overhead, just following to see where it was going to be going. Anyway, we got quite far, and I thought, look, I'll turn back just to keep it close to where I found it so that it didn't get too close to home. And at the meantime, I was sort of taking that grass out of its claw that it had held on to, and eventually I could get it out, and it grabbed onto me so tight. So it was sort of on these fingers like this, and I was still hugging it. And then I could feel it was starting to sort of move its wings around. And I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be okay. And so I just held it out like that, and it didn't do anything. So I kept it in, and then I could feel it sort of moving again a bit later on. And then it took off, and its family came and followed, and I was watching it, and it was flying really good. So it must have had a shock, and it must have been, I don't know, stunned. But then it recovered, and it was the most beautiful experience I've had, because, I love animals, as you guys know. Come on, we're going to take one arm behind. And not only do I love animals, to see them in the wild is the best thing ever. So anyway, that was a very, very satisfying animal encounter, I have to say. So let's move on down with the breath. You'll feel this stretch all the way through the waist. Now, I decided to do a stretch today just because I'm going to be doing a lot of exercise later. And I know some people really value the stretch classes, but I thought I don't want to tire myself too out with the yoga. Even though I love, love, love the yoga, I might do some of it in the park later anyway. So we're holding this one just for a minute, team. So come down a bit further if you can to really benefit from that top waist stretch. And I hope you have something lovely planned today as well. And you notice it's quiet, there's no kids around. They'll be back. Come on up. They've just gone down to the foot of the residency and they're watering I think it's radishes and beetroot. The potatoes probably don't need much watering. Maybe they do, I don't know. So another minute here. If you just logged on, start from the beginning because you'll hear the beautiful bird story that I just talked about. Absolutely wonderful encounter with wildlife. I think the most amazing encounter I've had with wildlife, I have mentioned it before in one of the stretch classes actually, was when I was a tour guide in Thailand and we were in the Similan Islands in Koh Sarin and we were snorkeling and I was with one of the local guides and we went a bit further from the boat and then he's like, points over there and I turn around and literally face to face with a manta ray. It was giant. That was pretty amazing. Come forward. Now what we're going to do is bring one leg in, the other leg will come forward. I'll have it on an angle so you can still see the foot and then just come down towards that leg. So you're keeping the leg as straight as possible. These ones were just holding minutes, but I'll change things and make them longer or shorter depending on what I think is more beneficial for you. My body's doing all right lately. I have not done much impact, as you've seen from the Tabata that we've been doing this week and last week. And so the knees are getting better and the back. The sciatica is still there, but not too bad. I've still got the calf injury. But I think, impact is an enemy when you've got a sore body. So you've got to do things that are less impact. So keep on breathing into this stretch. I'm actually going to hold this for 2 minutes, okay? So both sides 2 minutes. Yeah, so like I said, the girls are down the bottom of the driveway with Ramiro. But they'll be back, I'm sure, very shortly, and they'll probably show you off their stretches as well. So you're feeling that increase of length all the way down that leg. Yeah, we're going to do some Tabata style. I guess it's actually not Tabata, it's more interval training. That's what we're going to do at the park. And we're going to start about 11:30 today. And we've got it's going to be a lovely day. The kids are going to have lots of kids around to play with. That park is always busy, which is nice. But well spaced, people are not on top of each other, which is always, at this day and age, what you want. Just a few more breaths here. That will get us to our 2 minute mark. So just gently come on up and bring that leg in and the other leg can go away. We'll come down into that stretch. I'll tell you about more animal encounters, given that that's my favorite thing on the planet is animals and encounters with animals. But when I used to live in Isabella on the Galapagos, I think that was my favorite place because you could go a whole day and not see people and just see animals. But I used to do a walk every day to the Wall of Tears, it's called, the Muro de las Lágrimas. And I used to walk and it would take, how long? It would take about an hour to get there and an hour back, 2 hours. It's about 7K one way. And on the way up, you pass a lot of giant tortoises. They're the land tortoises, not the marine ones. And they can be quite, funny. They can be quite, I guess you could say, angry if you scare them. So they don't often want you to come close to them. So I used to play a game with my own head, like if I could get to the giant tortoise without it hissing at me, because that's actually the noise they make, they hiss. Then I'm like, okay, we're friends. And then if I have one that would hiss at me before I got to it, I'm like, okay, we're enemies. It would be this stupid game I'd talk with these giant tortoises. But it really was amazing. And the pelicans too, the giant, amazing brown pelicans. I think Australia does have more attractive looking pelicans. We've got the white ones. But the pelicans there are phenomenal. There's something that you just watch them. You're lying on the beach and you see them flying overhead and you just think it transports you to like what it must have been like in prehistoric times with the pterodactyls and all the rest. That's how I feel anyway, you know. Write to me about your adventures with animals. Let's bring this leg actually centered and then both legs forward for just 1 minute here with this stick pose stretch, just to really complement what we've done and have both legs working at the same time. You can zip the legs up too. This will give you a release, obviously through the back of the legs, but also through your back. So I suspect gyms are opening from the 5th of November, it seems. So that's going to be good, but I will still keep going with a couple of sessions a week on the live stream. We'll see how we go. I don't know if all my classes will come back, but we'll find. We'll see. But in the meantime, you'll see me here 6 days a week. Obviously, Sundays is the day off that I just have with the family. But yeah, it's nice. In a moment, we're going to really fold ourselves up, arms and legs. So let's get into it. Come on up, take one leg in, the other leg on top, 90-degree angle at both legs, and then it's your opposite arm comes back. And if you can, you're going to lace your fingers and just pull them back, draw your shoulders flat back. And so if you pull the left arm, I'm going to show you, push it back, then you're going to get more of a stretch for your tricep. And you should feel like you've got an elongated back. So everything's a little bit longer. And what was so beautiful about this Rosella is it was so calm. It wasn't scared of me at all. It didn't try and attack me. It was just, I don't know, it was like we had this lovely connection and it knew I just wanted to help it, which is so nice. Although it could have been just, you know, still in shock and not able to move. I'm going to go with the former, not the latter, though. We had a connection. I felt it. So this next exercise, release the arms. It's just 30 seconds each side. Push onto your knee and come down as far as you can. And if you can, sort of open yourselves heart upward, yeah? So it's a lovely release again into the waist. But you want to be evenly weighted on both sit bones, so no lifting of your buttock. We're nearly at the 30-second mark anyway, so just gently bring yourselves up and then push down to come the other side. Again, just rotate up and feel that lovely release again. Or maybe it's feeling quite tight. Either way, it's very good for you. Another beautiful animal interaction. I've got nothing much to talk about except for animals. Let's come up. And what we're going to do is just move our body weight forward now. And this one we'll hold for a whole minute. It's in Ecuador again, but this is the mainland Ecuador. There's this place called Mindo, which is famous for its birds and for its butterflies. And so there's this sort of enclosure and it's full of these beautiful hummingbirds. Absolutely just the way that they move their wings so fast. But the butterflies there were just stunning. And it reminded me when I went up to Cape Tribulation up north Queensland, tropical North Queensland, the butterflies there. You might have known I have a butterfly tattoo. I love the butterflies, especially the Ulysses, the big blue butterfly. So that was something pretty special as well. I've talked about these in class before. I know lots of people have had interactions with fantastic animals. Relax the shoulders. Come up. Now we're going to take this top leg with you over to the side. And the bottom leg's going to go behind. And then you're just going to extend. Move that leg back as far as it can go. And so you've got hip on heel. So it's a lovely stretch down through your, obviously, hip, quadricep. All of that is getting a nice pull. And then for a nice release. After the first minute, you'll have an option to come up higher, and that will give your back a stretch at the same time as well. I'm not going to fold us into the pretzel. I'm just going to, well, it's not really a pretzel, but it's folded. So hands will come under and we're just going to lift up. Just push that foot back, shoulders, draw them back. And then we'll just simply be able to repeat everything on the other side, but we'll stay here just a little bit longer. If you want to come up higher, you can make a fist and then get yourselves up even higher again. Those of you who were doing the stream with me yesterday, you will recall I told you that there was a wasp building its nest on the roof of the outdoor area. So this animal encounter, it was not very kind to the animal, but I did get rid of the wasp nest. And the poor wasp, we felt so bad afterwards. It came back looking. It was everywhere looking, but I can't have a wasp nest. So that was me being quite cruel to nature, I guess you could say. Let's have a seat. I don't think wasps are native to Australia though, so I don't feel that bad. So take the leg over on top and opposite arm, take it back. Other arm comes behind, lace your fingers. I don't want to be cruel to animals just because they're not native to here though. I remember one time I was going for a walk with a friend in Galapagos and we're going up, this was Santa Cruz, this is no longer in Isabella, we were walking from the main township up to Bella Vista, which is again probably about 6-7k up, and there was a black bird, they're introduced, and it had been hit by a car and it was dead. Thankfully it wasn't suffering, but she was like, oh good, they're introduced, and I just was like, it's so sad, it's so cruel. Like, I'm never going to say good when an animal dies. Couple more here. So we're just going to release that and then come down, pushing onto the knee. Again, just open yourselves up to get into the waist again. But because we've got the different leg, you're feeling it in the hip on the other side. Remember, only 30 seconds on each side here. That's good. I'm close enough up to see the seconds. I can hear the kids. I can hear one. I assume it's Anna because she's banging on the door, so she can't get in on her own. Someone will help her soon. So feel that lovely pull here. I think the stretch might go for a little bit more than 30 minutes, okay? Because I do want to get in all the exercises that are really of value and benefit. So we're just going to come up, sit yourself back so you're evenly weighted on both sit bones, and then come forward. It's nice to stretch, isn't it? I didn't do it last night because I thought we'd be doing the yoga today, but obviously I've changed the yoga into a stretch just for today. Next Saturday we'll be back to yoga again, okay? Poor Anna. Banging. She's not actually, she's just moving the door. Come down deeper into it, just benefit from those last seconds that we're here. And of course, use your deep breathing, that will assist you to get deeper into the stretches. So we're coming up, and then we're going to take our leg away from you. The other leg goes behind you, and again, just rotate yourself so hip comes on top of heel. Just if you want to feel that leg pulling back. If you've just logged in, do it from the start, please. I don't know who's out there, but I do see when people come in and drop out, obviously. So just 1 minute down here and then 1 minute with the back extension in this exercise. Got a busy morning actually. That's good. I like it when it's like that. Lots of stuff to do. So that's why I thought just make it a half an hour. But now that I've started, it's sort of hard to fit everything in just a half an hour. When I used to do the stretch classes in the gym, they'd actually go longer than the hour. Let's bring it in and just come up for that. Relax the shoulders, always elongate the neck as well. Yeah, they're all here now. I can hear them. That's all right. Stretch class is not so bad because it's just me talking and doing the same thing for a minute or two. So maybe the distraction of having the kids around is not such a bad thing. On your wrist, on your knuckles, sorry, if you want more. Remember to just keep pulling the shoulders back there. You can hear those ravens going. They're very noisy birds. I think one of them, if I was to try and pick that up, if it was wounded, would probably attack me. I like them though, don't get me wrong. So we're going to take both legs back now and come forward into your cobra. So I've got my knees down. You don't need to have them up. Just relax. Now, if you enjoy this stretch, I highly recommend you go back and do the yoga session that I did on Wednesday. It was all aimed at working your back, and we did a lot of these, and we did a lot of child poses and a lot of exercises that will really release your back, okay? So if you can, please go and do it. Just a few more lovely deep breaths will get you through to that minute mark. So we're going to come up onto all fours, and then you'll feed one arm through, and you'll have your head down. I might just have to fold this, so otherwise it's going to go in my face pretty much. So bring it through and just twist yourself, and that way you're going to get a lovely twist for your spine. It's a full minute here, and then we'll do the other side, and I'll just flip myself around so I can still see the seconds. But you see your bottom is the highest point, and then you're going down from an angle from there. The arm is helping twist. You should be weighted on your shoulder and head evenly, as well as on your knees. So coming up, and then we're just going to take the other arm through. Now I'm going to turn around just like I said, so I can see what's going on for seconds. Just open it up. Speaking of animal interactions, I think it wasn't, in nature it's per se, but was when I went to Kangaroo Island. There's a wildlife sanctuary there, and there was we paid quite a lot of money, but it was to have a personal tour of the place, and we got to have so much time with koalas, hugging them, kangaroo snakes, penguins, just every animal you can imagine that's native to Australia. The cassowary was my favourite by far. They're very, very cute. So we're going to come up now, and then we're going to just take your toes together, knees apart, and sit back into your back. Now after this, I'm going to move the screen up a little bit because we're going to be on our knees a little bit for some of these stretches. And I don't want to have the head chopped off because, doesn't make for good viewing, I suspect. Lovely stretch there. Really reach with your fingertips. And now I'm just going to, as you keep going, just move the screen up. That's going to be okay if I move back, I think. All right, so to get yourself set up, you're going to bring your foot in line with the knee, and you're leaning forward, but you're pushing your heel down. So we're going to do about 10 more minutes of stretches because each of these is going to be held for just a minute. So I'm leaning forward, but I'm pushing my heel down, and that way I'm feeling this stretch through the Achilles, so the ankle is getting the benefit here. So like I said, just 1 minute on each of these, and these are all for the legs, every single one, legs and hips. I don't want to get too far from the second hand though, I can't see it otherwise. So come on up. We're going to take this leg forward, and then you're going to hold on to the back foot. If you can, you're pulling those toes in towards you. So you guys know I've got an investment property up in Cairns. I stupidly bought it from down here in Melbourne, so I had not seen it. But I was having trouble with my tenant, I think I've told you, so I decided to get an agent. And when they finally got around to inspecting the property, they're like, get rid of him. And I was like, thank God, because that's what I was thinking. And you were able to get at least $50 a week more in rent. I'm like, that's fine by me. So we've given him until pretty much the end of October. But the bugger yesterday rang me, and Alba answered the phone, so I didn't see who had called, release that. And I've got an agent, mind you, move this leg forward more, move the other leg back more. We're getting to the lizard, so you can either stay up high, but if you can, come down low onto your elbows. If you want, you push that knee out more. So he rang me, and he's like, we're having trouble finding somewhere, can we stay a little bit longer? He's had 2 months notice. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed because he's been screwing me over. That's why I got an agent in the first place. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I said no. I said I don't want you. I want you to call up the real estate agent. Don't call me in the future. I was so caught off guard, and I just gotten back from the hula hoop session, which got me in a good state of mind. And then it was like, stress. Anyway. It's life, isn't it? We're going to come up from the lizard. We're going to pull ourselves back, keep the heel down, and then cross over. So you're going to keep this leg as straight as possible. So you should feel a nice deep pull through the back of the leg here. Now, we haven't done any core work per se, but we've done a lot of lengthening. So it'll be interesting to see how our balance goes after this. See if we're feeling stable. We didn't start with balance like we do in a Pilates, but we'll see how we go. So feel that lengthening, it's lovely. Necessary. So bring that leg out to the side. And then just keep moving, go that way so you can see it. Keep on moving it down to the side. Then you can come down. So you're feeling this pull through the inner thigh. Also a little bit through the quad and the back of the knee, but it's more inner thigh. I'm surprised they haven't come back in. I'm absolutely so surprised. I'm going to have a ripper of a day. They always have fun with my friends' children. They get along so well because they're all crazy kids. Crazy and adventurous and outgoing. They're not those timid, meek sort that will sit by their parent the whole time and not feel like they want to go out and play, which I like. you know. I like the way mine are. Bring the leg in. So we just got 5 minutes more of stretching because we've got to do everything that we've just done on the one side on the other. So your toes and knees are in line, but you're leaning forward but pushing the heel down. Good job. Remember, as you breathe out, still try and connect your belly muscles. You don't want to be slackening them off, always protecting our back. I made some pizza muffins last night to have them ready for today because I knew I wouldn't have time today to do it. And I hope they're going to be all right. They got feta. It hasn't been in the fridge all night though, but it's been cooked, so fingers crossed. I know they have stuff in the bakery that's there all day, so it should be all right. Bring this leg forward. Hold on to the back leg. Pull it in. I know my head's cut off a little bit, but the main thing is you can see that this leg, you've got that tight release coming through though. Bringing both hands back to pull that leg in as close as possible. And you can see I'm incorporating the Pilates breathing just because I think it's the best way to really relax the muscles that are feeling tight. And of course to get the abdominals switched on. Well, the wasp definitely hasn't come back today looking for its nest, so that's a good thing. Let's come forward, just release that foot, and that's coming into our lizard. So the leg goes back further, the other goes back more, and then you're coming down onto your elbows. A little bit longer here, and then we're going to pull ourselves back, but keep our heel in this position. Okay, so just use your hand, push yourselves up, and then tip on back. I just might move that leg forward, and then cross the arm over. Freckle. I was like, what is that? It took me a while. It's not what I'm used to. No, I'm sure it's just a freckle. Down a bit deeper. Feel that really strong pull and the benefit that this balance is giving you in the pull. And then we've got our final balance for the morning. It's coming up right now. So take the leg out. I might just swivel the mat around. Take the leg out as far as you can. Make your way down into it. Whew. It's tight. You know what, after this we'll just do one more stretch for our neck, yeah? So I think that that's somewhere that we hold a lot of tension. So it's good to work it just, and then we'll come up to standing. So bring that leg in, and place our knees together, and your hands can come into prayer behind your back, and then just let your head come down to one side, just 30 seconds each side. That's my knees talking to you. So this is a nice release for your neck, isn't it? Over to the other side. Then I'll have to apologise again because the washing is going to be in full view. I've got some here, there, and over there as well. One of my favourite purchases is my clothes rack. It's the other one. You can't see it. It's not in view, but it is so good. It's the best for socks and undies, which is fantastic. All right, so I'm going to move the screen up, team. And that's our mini stretch session. And hopefully I'll be in screen for the balance. Wonderful. Let's bring our back foot in, arm lifts, and then tip through. So you see how nimble? What was the word I'm looking for? Oh, you can see the beanbags too, sorry. Everything's a mess. It's because the floor's been recently swept. Too long. So the beanbags are up there. Change sides. And then come out of that as well. Arm goes to the side. Now lock down balance. You should feel really, hopefully, able to push this one further. Oh, and you can. I mean, look at the benefit of a stretch, eh? And bring it in. Come to the other side. Bring it in. We'll lower that arm down. The other one we're going to bring forward and just push the head forward. And switch. Bring it in, sink into the legs, cross your right leg over in for your eagle. Left arm goes under. So still a bit of a stretch going on even though we're in our balance component. We're not holding these for a minute though. Arms to the side, pulling the knee up, and then come into your aeroplane. Ooh, no crashing today. And come up, sink on in, switch, other leg comes over, opposite arm, under. Arms to the side, lift up, take it back. Oh, my ankle wanted to move me, but that stretching's really made it stay strong. And bring it in. On my way to the tree pose place, the hula hoop session yesterday, I was listening to Kate Lambrook. I think she's just so hilarious. She was talking about how she's done exercise every day this week. Anyway, they were like, oh, some people talk about a point where you start to get endorphins and like adrenaline rush from getting, an exercise session. And they're talking about it like it's a foreign concept. I was just thinking, that's me every session. I'm lucky that I love exercise, change their lives. I know people aren't, necessarily exercise lovers. They do it because they feel they have to. I.e. Kate Lambrook, but it was too funny. Just 2 more breaths. Bring the arms down. So this, my team, is our end of our week of exercise. Monday we'll be starting back with our Tabata session again. So have a lovely Sunday, and it's been a lovely time being with you. Bye now.